And welcome everybody to another exciting trading day, at least the last fourth quarter, right? We're down fourth quarter, the end of everything, and what we're going to do today is we got the big Chon in the house. We're going to turn this over to the Chon, and he's going to take the show away for the first half. Ready, set, go!
All right. How's everybody doing tonight? Thanks for joining me tonight. Hey, listen, we are 2 minutes away from our daily close, our weekly close. And we're just kind of talk about it tonight and get a synopsis of kind of where we are. And I wanted to start with our weekly candle because I think this is the more significant candle to kind of start our thing with here. We have had at this moment here this tightening equilibrium that continues to tighten with higher lows and lower highs. And about a minute from now, this is our weekly candle. It's about to close. And, we can basically talk about what this means, what this, again, tight bodied, long lower wicked, it's a similar candles in the previous week, except a couple of things happen here. These are the EMAs I like to use, my EMA 55, 12, 26. Okay, and this is our middle Bollinger here. And for 3 weeks in a row, not only have we been repelled by this is our 12, right? Yeah, EMA 12. Yep, EMA 12. But now, for the second week in a row, we've actually been repelled by our EMA 55. And this is the repelling. There it is. There's the close. There's the weekly close confirmation. We just started our new week here. And this is once again a confirmation where we're getting rejected by these moving averages continuously on kind of low volume here. Let me go to a different chart here that actually shows us some volume so we can take a look at what we're seeing here. Let's go to Phoenix. No, let's go to Phoenix. There we go. All right. So listen, I put this, let's go back to our daily chart here because as long as our weekly, we also closed our daily chart. And once again, we are still in this tight pattern here where we've been putting in lower highs. So we wicked out here. We looked out here lower by $20, but still it's lower. And then we looked out here, okay, about 4 days ago at 67.44 area, 40 area. And now along those pullbacks, if you've bought them up, okay, we've basically been rising ever so slowly higher. Now we have our daily chart with our middle Bollinger, our EMA 12, our EMA 26, all right there, all tightening, and we closed above on our daily chart. So even though we were continuing to get resisted on our weekly chart with our EMAs for 1, 2, 3, 4, our fifth day we are starting when we are above our EMA 1226 middle Bollinger line. Still being repelled by our EMA 55, still being repelled by this triangle resistance, okay, if you want to go wick to wick. If you want to go body to body, starting body to body, okay, closing body here, okay, to closing body here, and look at that, like to the penny, we are bumping up against it as resistance. What has our supports been? Let's just go back to, here, closing body, okay, so we can still keep this equilibrium for a couple more days, still put in lower highs, okay, on the close or even on the wick of the daily chart. And then we can basically see this playing out as nothing happens until the move comes in, until the Momo, until the volume actually shows up in the chart here. And we're just not there yet. And you have to ask yourself kind of what is that catalyst? What is that propelling news event? Because listen, this is a news-driven market here with our low volume. And let's take a look at our low volume. This is CoinMarketCap here. I'm going to refresh the page. So right now, Bitcoin dominance at 52.3%. Now, for how long? Over a month, 2 months? We've been in the 50s, the low 50s. We were as high as 57%. Okay, now we were as low as in the mid 30s, right? 36%, when there was still a lot of money flowing into altcoins. What this shows still is, again, there's no change in this. Okay, as we were rising higher in Bitcoin, I felt that was a circumstance where money from altcoins is flowing away and going to that Bitcoin either safe haven or just removing it out of the thing and putting it into Tether or fiat as more of a safe haven or a safe coin, the Bitcoin dominance would rise in that fact because money will be sucked out of altcoins, which are the most, what do you want to call them, the most high risk, high reward. Okay, we've had some altcoins popping because Bitcoin has been able to stabilize and remain relatively in a position, in a stance to break bullish. And what I mean by that is, ever since February, we've been consistently holding our bear breaks of around the 6K, give or take a couple $100 area here. Okay, volume is getting really low once again. Okay, we're in the lowish $3 billion range for Bitcoin's price action. Now, when we were in September here, okay, we were riding a good $4 billion. Okay, when we were still at the same price point. Okay, look at Bitcoin here, close 6,400, 6,599, 6,676. We were 4.7. Okay, 4.3, 4.6, 5 billion. Okay, look at the past 3 days here, 3.6, 3.2, 3.3. Okay, so we're losing our volume momentum, and that is symbolizing that a major move is about to happen, as well as there's a sale at DSW Shoewear, free shipping for VIP members. Thanks, guys. So listen, guys, 2,042 cryptocurrencies are trading on 14,470 markets. The entire crypto market is $218 billion. Now, we've been hovering above 200 billion for a while. We did dip below by a hair or so, but these are areas here where we're trying to maintain. I want to just do a quick check here on BitMEX. Okay, this is our leveraged shady friend over here, but also offers very interesting opportunities and interesting scalp moves on leverage. And what we saw here is this was the break we had bearishly yesterday, 20 hours ago, 24 hours ago. And the wick here, okay, high volume wick bought up. We trickled higher all through our Sunday price action, all through the football. Okay. And then we had this out of nowhere bull pop. I was watching the 5-minute chart here, and you see this little 5-minute pump. Okay, especially this candle here. You knew something was about to rocket. And we're watching this kind of follow through here, because so far every bull pump in Bitcoin is wicked off because profits are being sold in this very tightening equilibrium range here. Back to Bitcoin here. This is the daily chart, still being repelled, okay, on these wicks here by our triangle here. Let's look at some under indicators. Go to the sixer here. All right, so listen, this here is Bitcoin's daily RSI, okay? And we're basically seeing here that we've broken out of our resistance zone, and we are held a back test of that zone, and we're still trickling a little higher and still maintaining our above 50. It's not convincing, it's not compelling a move, but it's definitely above 50. That is notable. We want to hold that 50 because 50 allows us to proceed to much more higher bullish intentions. Relative strength index. The strength is still teetering on the edge, and it has been for several days. Our stochastic here on a daily is still mid-channel. Okay, now we have been breaking bullish for several days here, but we're close to potentially rolling over, and we're also close. We are also close to putting in a lower high here. Okay, lower high. Here's our high. Here's our lower high. We put in a little line here. So we're losing that momentum in our stoch as well. Our MACD here, we are on day 18 now of our bullish histogram bars. And, the last time we did 14 bars of bearishness, preceded by 16 bars of bullishness, preceded by 20 bars of bearishness. And we're getting into that area where we normally have a trend change, where after a certain amount of momentum, bullish or bearish, we go the opposite direction. And yes, I would call this choppy sideways price action still having this bearish intention over the days here. So I feel the MACD, though, still angled slightly bullishly and still having the availability to pop a couple $100 potentially, has exhausted most of its big move here. And for that, I have to still lean for the better chance of a. It's easier to break bearish and retest these lower support lines. Our OBV continues to be rejected by a line of previous support that had failed to hold, and now is double tapping a rejection line there. But it's still holding. It's still, everything is showing us the potential to break bullish. Yet every time we break the little push there, the conviction gets sold off because profits are taken. Our chalk money flow has had a double tap in this area here, which we had seen previously back in May. It did a double tap of this bullish area, double tap in July, and a double tap here in October. That has symbolized the end of these, bullish pops here, and potentially a breakdown in our volume here. So, listen, we keep seeing sideways action preceded by a minute here of just, bullish price action here. But the bigger narrative over the past week, at least, has been opportunity in several altcoins. And there's been great opportunities to take advantage of that with the stability of Bitcoin. The question is, at some point, a more definitive move in Bitcoin will happen. A bull break does not necessarily mean it's good for altcoins, because you can have more of a rush flow into Bitcoin and the sucking sound again in altcoins. We had seen that before. We know a bear break in Bitcoin is just bearish all around for altcoins. But if Bitcoin can continue to trickle sideways, there are opportunities from a percentage standpoint that we continue to see in altcoins. But we're always on that edge, because if the big dump happens, then everything's off the table and everything can fall through these previous supports that over the past week we've seen being able to be broken into. So again, as the week closes, as the day closes, we are still holding this tight equilibrium, opportunities on both ends here, and still we can trickle for several more days into price action. However, kind of have a feeling that next week's, we'll get a little more clarity on the direction of this market.
Yeah. Okay, good. Excellent. So did you have a chance to talk about the weekly candle setup that's going on?
Yeah, I just actually started with that, just talking about the candlestick that we put in and just how it's another week of this equilibrium, tight body close, lower high, higher low, on declining volume once again.
Yeah, excellent. All right, so let's take a look at some of the VAMP charts. Let's take a look at the VAMP charts. So my call yesterday was a semi-fail, so I will take responsibility for a semi-failed call. I said that I'm looking for a lower test first of 6450s to 6500, then a bounce, then a test on the bounce, right? So I did fail. We hit 6524, I believe.
Check your audio.
Oh, check. I can hear me. Can you hear me? Yeah, I think I'm on. Can everybody hear me? Hello? Hello? I think they can hear me. All right, so can you hear me, Joan? Joan?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. All right. So I just want to make sure. All right. Yeah, you scared me there for a second. All right. So I want to make sure. I want to just, so my call was for 6540 to 6450 to 6500. We did bounce at 6420, 6425, I think. So yeah, 6425. So I did miss that lower bounce test by 25 points. I had a little more bearish hopeism that we would get down a little bit lower and test this lower area before we got a bounce. So that was kind of a fail call. Now my ETH trade call was if we didn't break 228, which I was still in my short, I expected us to hit 220. So let's go over and look at the VAMP's call for this. The VAMP once again failed because we hit 220.43, so I did miss my lower target by 0.43 of a dollar, by 43 cents. Once again, I will take the hit on that, allow the trolls to say how miserable of a trader I am by missing, by missing this one by 25 points here and 43 cents on ETH. So, the way this has been playing out is exactly like the J-hook chart has been calling it, right? We got the pump. I said, watch this. When this touches, you get the diller. We got the diller. Then we retrace. So you got the pump, then the retrace, then the pump again. Now, this is really where the rubber meets the road right here, okay? this is really where we make the deciding factor of really where crypto's going here and I would like to say the short term and possibly the medium term, not the longer term, of course. I'm still bullish on crypto long term. But here in the short term now, we did bounce out of this, right? For a second time, we did get this bounce out of here, which is telling because this is something we haven't done a lot of. We really don't create this type of pattern where we bounce in and out and in and out. This is not something that happens a lot and has happened back through history. So right now, I'm looking at this as two ways, right? That we are either making that bounce right now, right, which is the bounce to the dump right now. We're doing that at this moment right now in time, and or we're going to get a little bit of a bullish push, right? Because we did break north again on this for a second time. Now, what concerns me, the biggest thing that concerns me at this point, looking at the J-hook chart, is very simple. And we're going to go over to this chart right here, which is my bear volume chart, right? So my bear volume chart has said for the first time in all of, we had to go all the way back once again to February 2017 to find a candlestick with this low of volume. We have put in pretty much a 2018 low, right? A 2018 low on volume. And you can see when you start to put in these low volume candles that start to stack up, right? You do get a lower, you are looking for a continued trend of bearishness. Right, there is usually a continued trend of bearishness that does follow when you do cluster into these lower volume areas, right? And it is really, really difficult for me to right now say, I'm bullish. How can I be bullish with a volume candle this abysmal? There's no reason with all of the good news we had this week, right? We had TD Ameritrade, which is now going to launch an exchange. We had some positive, some okay news coming out about how there's some rule changes going over at the SEC for the ETFs. We've got, we haven't seen any tether injections into the market. There really hasn't been anything that's kind of negative, but that's been a lot of positive news. And with all this positive news, I'm looking at this very low volume candle. And, one of the things I hear people who are, of course, more bullishly biased is, there's a lot of OTC trading going on, right? Mm-hmm. And I have a hard time believing there's a lot of OTC trading going on, other than there's a moron born every moment, right? There's always somebody who will buy beachfront property in Nevada. You can always find that guy. No, the sand is amazing, right? The sunshine every day. You're close to the water, right? Now, close, what? Compared to Mars close? Are close compared to, walk out to your front door close, all right? There's two different versions of close, all right? So I don't see how a lot of over-the-counter trading is occurring, especially at volumes like this when you clearly have bag holders who are holding on to the bags that they have. And there was an excellent article that if you watched the show yesterday, one of the things that I brought up was that BTC does not equal real money, okay? BTC does, just hear me out, people, before you start blasting me and putting thumbs downs on my video. BTC does not equal real money. It doesn't, okay? And this is, I just spoke about this yesterday. Just because you have 12,000 BTC or 100,000 BTC, right? This doesn't mean you have a bazillion dollars, right? How do you spell bazillion? Bazillion, right? It doesn't equal a
I before E, yeah.
yeah, it doesn't equal a bazillion dollars, right? This does not equal a bazillion dollars. It only equals what the value of BTC is. So right now you have the issue is it's like I'm a bag holder in a token right now, right? I am a bag holder in a token, and I have a million of these tokens. Okay, if I sell 500,000 of my tokens, I will crash the price. Right? It's that simple, right? If I sell 500,000 of my tokens right now, I can crash the price on the marketplace. Okay? So you have to tell me, how much are my tokens really worth? Are my tokens really worth 25 cents? 0.25? Or are they worth, because as I sell, the value drops. The value doesn't just drop, the value plummets. Right? So my thing is, if Phoenix and Binance and all these guys are holding all of this Bitcoin in their bags, right? They can't even sell the Bitcoin they have. They can't even sell it, because if they sell the Bitcoin they're holding, they'll crash the market. Right? They'll crash the market. And they can't. So what is the Bitcoin? What is the valuation of a company that can't even sell the asset that it holds? Right? The true value of that company is exponentially lower. You'd have to factor in on, if you were to liquidate right now 20,000, 50,000 Bitcoin on the marketplace, and you just would scoop up. So what happens is, you guys know that you have buys layered here and walls. They're called walls, right? And all these walls are stacked up all the way down, and you better believe your socks that there's people who have walls that have a buy set in way down here. There's a buy set down here. Somebody has a buy set down here at $800. And there's a buy wall set here, right? These are buy walls, right? And in order to get these, if you wanted to sell your asset, and this one was, let's say this was a 5,000 or a 2,000 wall, right? And this one was a 5,000 wall, right? And then this one was a 10,000 wall, right? In order to get down to scoop up these, the value of your asset has to plummet, right? So the issue is that they can't even sell their own assets. They're trapped. These companies like Binance and Phoenix and these whales, they're trapped in their own asset, and they can't even liquidate their asset to fiat. Right? And it's only a matter of time before somebody does. It's only a matter of time before somebody starts to liquidate their asset for fiat, because you can't, it's not real money until you liquidate to fiat. You can't go out to a company right now and buy something with BTC and, oh, let's have that argument, okay? Yes, you can. I can go out and I can buy a yacht right now. I could buy a yacht for 500 BTC. Right? I don't know how much of a yacht I'm going to get for 500 BTC. Let's call it 5,000 BTC.
I got a beauty I can sell you.
There you go. Yes. The Chon has a really nice yacht. He's got a beauty. So you could go out and you could buy a yacht for BTC. Now, here's what the thing is going to happen. You're going to go out and buy that yacht, right? Then company A is gonna take that 5,000 BTC, and they're just going to go market sell it. They're going to do a market sell, because they got to pay their workers, and workers don't get paid. Workers don't get paid in BTC. Workers get paid in fiat. Okay? So they can't even go buy a freaking yacht without that yacht jumping onto the market, that BTC jumping onto the market and crashing the market, right? Seriously, probably it's going to take more than 5,000 BTC. It's going to take pretty substantial to dump the market right here, right? But the issue is, these companies and corporations are trapped in this. They're trapped in their own. They're trapped in their own game, okay? And they can't sell it off to fiat. They're not liquid. The problem is, these companies are not fiat. These companies are not liquid. They're not liquid like Apple. They're not liquid like all these other corporations that are out there, right? That can just say, hey, I've got $1 billion in the bank. Not kidding. I've really got $1 billion in the bank, you know? And these companies can go out and buy anything they want, anytime they want, do anything they want. They don't have to convert nothing. They don't have to do nothing. And that is the fiat cash. These companies are fiat cash rich. They're liquid. These companies that are sitting with all this Bitcoin are not liquid. They're not. And that includes Tether. So when you buy Bitcoin with Tether, even though the money that they're buying it with is fake, the Tether that the Bitcoin that you purchase with that fake Tether is still has a intangible value because they can't resell it. They can't dump it back onto the market right now. They're trapped with it. So they're actually bag holders. The funny thing is we think the whales have all this power. In reality, they don't have power because they can't pull their asset off and they can't be liquid with their asset at all times, 24 hours a day. Yeah.
So if the exchanges continue to defend 6K, like, are you asking the question, how long can they pretend that there's a market for Bitcoin at $6,000 before somebody just decides I can't do this anymore and dumps, and then it creates the cascade we're all waiting for?
That's right. The thing is that the more money that's assumed and purchased by Binance and by Bitfinex and by Tether and by all these, these people who are holding the market up, they keep buying and absorbing the amount of BTC, and they're putting it into their bags. They just can't. There's no buyers for it. They're running out of buyers for BTC. And that's why we keep seeing this regressive market, is because there's no one there who trusts the system. There's no one there who's going to buy. That's why the faithful out there, the bullish faithful, right? Which I do believe I'm one of those. I just feel I'm a bullish faithful convert at $4,200. There is a place when all of a sudden guys like me and you and a lot of sensible TA people say this is a value. It's a buy. This is a buy, right? I just haven't reached that buy point where they're just trying not to let their bag of, and a hard to get just posted that Phoenix has $2 billion in BTC. $2 billion that they're sitting on, right? And it was sitting on 2 billion BTC. It's not freaking worth 2 billion BTC because they can't sell it. They can have what you should really say hard to get is you should say Bitfinex has 200,000 Bitcoin. You shouldn't say they have $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, because that is in fact that is not true, because if they liquidated that $2 billion, they would liquidate the entire market of, they would probably just crash the market like Mt. Gox. Okay. We do have a question. Do you really face trouble with USDT? Do we need to see a shift to PAX? So this is a good narrative since we're on this path with chatting about this. I personally have moved. I had a pretty large holding in Tether. I've split that up on my Binance account. I now have a larger share of true USDT, which is backed by the US dollar, and they are an audited company. And I've moved a larger percentage over. Now it is easy. I just have to go from USDT, true USD to USDT, which they now have added that trading pair. So you've got that trading pair, so it's easier to get in and out of it. And then I do jump over to a regular standard coin, whatever. Now, here's the other thing. If Tether does crash, people, the market is not going to crash. Right? This is the funny thing. It's not going to create an immediate crash in the market. What's going to happen is if Tether crashes, there's going to be a flood of people out of Tether, into BTC or Ethereum, one of the two, or now you've got all the trading pairs. There's going to be a push out of those into the trading pairs, and there's going to be a spike in those trading pairs. But then the next thing is you're going to see all these people who are in Tethers, the price of Tether just nosedives. I mean, can you imagine having $40,000 in a Tether account, and all of a sudden tomorrow morning you wake up and your 40 grand in Tether is worth 50%? Right?
It would destroy the faith, anything that's left in the market, and that's where you need buyers to come in, is when they have the feeling that they can buy at 6K and not take another 50% hit in Bitcoin, which from a chart perspective is still possible.
Correct. Now, with that being said, what would happen is you would wake up in the morning and you would first thing you do is look at your Tether account, and your Tether account would be at 50%, right? Your 40 grand would be at 20 grand. Well, the first thing you're going to do is get the F out of Tether, right? So you're going to jump into Bitcoin, you're going to jump into Ethereum or something like that. Well, the challenge is here's what's going to happen next. The next thing is these Tether-based economies, right? They're going to start to crumble. And then what's going to happen is people are then going to remove their coins from Tether-based exchanges. Right, so I feel a lot of people would just move off of a Tether-based exchange real quick, and they would go and they would hide in, JPY or Euro or whatever, all over the world, those exchanges that have those actual hard currency, like Coinbase. Like Coinbase, for example, has USD, right? So Coinbase has USD. You go and you hide and hoy at USD. So anyways, that's what I feel is going to happen with Tether. Now, a lot of these pegged coins, and there's now more and more and more. Gemini just created one. Good news. Good news, right? Good news. Gemini's creating one. There's a bunch of other ones that are being created out there right now. So it would take the weight off of a simple Tether crashing, and I think a lot of people are prepared for this. Right, I think a lot of people are prepared for this, but I digress into this situation here. Now,
it's an important point to just specify how spreading out your portfolio, even if it's on Tether or
Binance or Coinbase or stablecoins.
Just it's important to have that spread out. Everything from a hard wallet to other exchanges, because you're right. You never know when you wake up and you have a situation where you log in and the site says this site is seized by the FBI. Cool. You don't want to wake up to that. So to hedge that, it's important to kind of spread out your crypto assets when you are vested. And even if you're in a safe haven like a Tether or a stable coin, even having that spread out among exchanges that you can have a lot of faith in. And even if, for all we say about the limitations of Coinbase or Gemini and what have you, just having those stability and just assuming that, geez, there's enough behind this that they're not kind of falter overnight. But as an American and trying to deal with those overseas companies, overseas exchanges, there's always that situation where there's no one you can complain to really if anything really goes down, because this is on some island in Malta or the island of Man or south of the border. So yeah, from a perspective of just hedging and being safe as a trader and as an investor, spreading that out is important.
Yes, yeah. No, I agree. And and there's a lot of good things about, that are coming out of cryptocurrency. And I feel one of it is we are creating an entirely new generation of traders. And I feel this is an amazing way, and it's an amazing awakening. Have gotten people excited into trading, and not just people. I see a lot of people now that are in our group that are now doing Forex. We have Forex in our group, and a lot of our people are like, well, the sideways action is killing me. I'm just going to go over to Forex. We have a great Forex area, and those guys are making, they're making a couple points a day. They're making 5 points a day, so it's great, yeah. So anyways, let's move on in our conversation here. Okay, let me kind of puzzle through our weekly. Let's move through our weekly puzzle here and try to put the pieces together on what the flow is of this next week. So the very first thing I see when I look at this is I see a rising wedge. Right, it's hard not to see a rising wedge. I see a bearish engulfing candle. right? On the weekly. So we had a bearishly engulfing candle. That bearishly engulfing candle then to me made what I would personally consider on the weekly chart a hanging man candle. I can't see this as anything other than a hanging man candle. And as I kind of just glanced back in time a little bit, first thing I did is I kind of started to go look. I said, oh, you know, this is kind of familiar over here, right? This is a little bit familiar with this space. And, you know, now one of the other things I look at this is, and there is a combo pattern that does play out this, and this combo pattern is called the double doji. So you get a double doji pattern. Let me go pull this one up for everybody. And here it is. So this is a double doji pattern right here. So you get a spinning top followed by a doji candle followed by the end of the world, right? And this is the so this pattern is really damn close. Really damn close right here, right? Now, if you take a look at this pattern, right, you still can get a, you know, a nice healthy little pokey up. And that's kind of one of the things we've been talking about is, you know, and if you go over to my main chart, I say, hey, gonna get up here. We're going to come down here with bounce. There it is, 6450 to 6500, then bounce, then test. And I'm looking for the test. We're looking for the test right here. Are we going to break through? We can break through. We can do it, but we need volume to do it, right? So that takes us back. So here's my call, 6450. I did miss this by 25 points. We're now getting our bounce. We're now going to test this top side, right? So I go back over here and to my volume, and here's my volume chart. And I look at this double doji pattern, and this double doji pattern once again tells me, oh yeah, look at that. Little nice little wick up, and then the end of the world, right? So I can totally see this. I can totally see one more little push up here. Give me a little pushy, a little pokey up to the 6,700 range, and then let's see how that goes. Now this would be my top line. This is one of the easiest charts. I mean, it's so easy just to dial into this chart and become an instant chart master. I am great. Look at this. Oh, man. Woohoo. I mean, who cannot dial into this chart and say, there is your historical resistance? I mean, can we make it any clearer to people? Does it get any easier to lay a historical resistance line out there and say, okay, wow, 6,700 buckaroonies, right? 6,700, the 786, 6718. I mean, I really think that this is it. You're gonna come up here. We're gonna test right up here. We're gonna hit this heavy duty. We're gonna hit the. Right there you go. We're gonna come up here. We're gonna hit this heavy duty resistance line right there, and right there, and then that's all she wrote, right? We're just going to do that, and then this is going to be the true test. We've got to get through this historic resistance line. Now, your second line, you're just going to go ahead, pretty simple. Once again, bam, 68.29. So to me, the win and the lose is very, very simple, right? This is such an easy chart to look at. Your win and your losers are going to be decided by these four lines. That's it. You've got four lines right here, right? You got the first bullish break, bearish break. You got the first bullish break. You got the second bullish break, and then you're off to the races. You got the second bearish break, and then you're off to the races. So you're inside of this very simple chart with historical resistance and supports. Now, I would look at the combination here. So I'm going to look here. I'm going to say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rejections on this top side, right? So we have resistance at, what is that? 6,700, right? 6,700-ish, right? So 6,700-ish. So number one, very simple. That's it. This is number one. Okay? Then number two, your second target, 68.28. Now, I do feel 68.28, right? I do feel that this is where the true bullish this is where the rubber meets the road, breaking this area, and I'm talking a substantial, like, you've got this little baby range in here, right? So there's your little range, right? This is heavy duty resistance, and this resistance unfortunately runs right up there to 6,900. So we're going to go 6828 to 6,900. All right. Now, if I was looking for a bullish, if I was looking over here and saying, hey, I'm super bullish on this, these would be my first top two targets, right? But the second thing I would look at now is my candle combo. So number three is we need to look at our candle combo, for the weekly, right? And it is bearish. Right, we just posted up a bearish weekly candle combo that was bearishly engulfing. Right, and number four is we just painted a hanging man candle, and then number five, we posted up we painted. We created a double doji combo, right? Now, these were all done on the weekly, right? So all three of these candle signs now are bearish, right? And now let's look at the other thing, because we're going to look at the bullish side of this also. So number six, this looks like a rising wedge, okay? Now, let's look at the last thing that makes this all super, super crappy. 7, price is going up, right? The price has been going up, right?
Lack of sellers or lack of buyers?
Volume has been going down, okay? So, our volume, our price, our low-end price has been increasing, right? Our price, our rising wedge is clearly going up. We are creating kind of a flag pattern, right? We are creating a flag, right? We have posted out and printed a flag pattern right here, possibly symmetrical triangle-ish, right? Possibly symmetrical triangle-ish. We're going to have to take a peek at this. If we cut off this candle right here especially, I would look at this. This is the way I would almost really like to look at this, is like that and like that. Right? Kind of like that right there. I would look at this setup in this particular flag formation. Okay, I still don't like this damn this candle, this hanging candle right here. Okay, but I would look at this in this wedge formation. And then I also look at that. That works out really well right there to come back and make contact with that wedge candle, with this candle kind of confirming my wedge theory is what it is. It's a theory at this point. Okay, but now I look at the volume. So as the price action has been rising, clearly not falling. We're clearly not falling. The price is not dropping. We're still in the same range. In fact, we are actually higher. If we're actually moving up in price. We're here. This was our baseline. We are higher now with lower volume. All right. So with that being said, this is bearish. My concern is that we post up a greenish little. It's possible to post up. Oh, man, what the hell is that? I don't know what I just did there. All right, it is possible that we post up a greenish style, a green candle, right? It is possible that we could post up even a small green candle this weekly. This weekly candle, it is possible to push. I think we can push up a little bit. The worst thing that could ever happen in the entire world is for us to put in a candle that's $100, $150 range again, another tight squeezing candle. over this week. And what we would call that is we would call that a continued squeeze, and it would stay within this line and within this line, and we'd stay within this wedge right here over the next entire week. It would be just the most ungodly week of trading. I swear to God, I would poke myself in the eye. I would pray to baby bull Jesus. I would do whatever I had to. Now, my belief is that we're coming to an apex. We're coming to a decision-making time. The volume to me is BS. I don't see us getting any higher than these two lines right here, right? I can see a wick out to 6,700-ish, right? But after a wick out to 6,700-ish, I am in fact more bearish now than I have been in a long time, based solely on volume. All right, I'm going to turn this over to Chon for a second. We're going to get his ideas. And go for it, buddy.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what you were saying about the weekly chart, I just wanted to take a look at Bifinex longs and Bifinex shorts. And, you know, we talked about this in the last show about how there's no real extreme overbought or oversold condition in either way of the market here. Because of that, you basically have an area where you're not going to see a short squeeze, or you're not going to see longs over leverage adding additional fuel to any definitive move either way. And still our longs, which is this chart right here, we're still declining. We're still putting in lower highs. We're putting in lower lows. And our shorts over here on our weekly chart are still putting in at least higher lows, and has been flirting with this all-time high breakout for over a month, and is still in the area poised to do just that at some point. So I have to give deference to the shorts position to rise higher, you know, when and the longs position to fall continuously and to continue to be rejected by the EMAs. So from a positioning standpoint, I still see this as a bearish foot on the price of Bitcoin, as well as what Dan said about just the declining volume on the weekly chart we had seen once again. It's important to kind of figure out, like, as Bitcoin has gone sideways, and as we watch for different perspectives and to see what could be the potentials for these markets here, and we see which altcoins pump while Bitcoin remains stable. And, you know, for days now we're watching Ethereum, Litecoin, a bunch of those kind of stay static, you know, not move at all, while other ones, based on their chart setup, Tron, ZRX, for some news there, and a few other ones, have basically taken advantage of this stability over several weeks of Bitcoin. And that's kind of that variable which we as traders have to figure out. There's been so many good scalping and trading opportunities, entries and exits. When you enter, you need to have an exit at least in mind to basically bank your profits. And in this market here, staying in a long, more than a couple days, I mean, we can see how once these moves fade away, they break down. And we had a bullish move followed by a breakdown, followed by a bullish move, followed by a breakdown, followed by a bullish move. And is this our breakdown? Have we just completed our breakdown? Wasn't much of a breakdown. We basically have been at $6,600 for the past 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, past 2 months in a row. Every month we have basically touched at least the $6,600 range. And this cannot last forever. Our weekly Bollingers are tightening, but they still have a ways to go before they're really tight. Our dailies are just the same way. They're extremely tight as they've been all of 2018, and yet there's still no reason why they can't get a little bit tighter. But look, we're talking about $300.
Is it possible for them to cross over? Is it possible for them?
I mean, because here's the thing.
Unbelievable how tight that is.
It's a legit question, because this is based on our 20-day moving average here. And sideways price action can continue to bring in our upper one lower, our lower one higher, and create this tightening. And listen, in daily Bollingers past, when we've seen extreme tightening, we've seen major moves in the price action, bullish and bearish. This is as tight we have been since our parabola, going all the way back to our top off of 20K, but still, it's still wide comparing to where we had been all of 2015, 2016, and the original part of 2017 in our Bollingers as a whole. So everything's relative, people. What's important, though, is to see what we're still being finding support on and hitting resistance on. For 2 weeks, our EMA 55 is continuing to be resistance. We touched our lower BB. We touched our upper BB. We haven't touched our lower BB yet since our upper one. We tend to do a back and forth, upper one, lower one, upper one. Haven't touched our lower one, but even in that bear break to 64, maybe 63.50 Bitcoin, that has proven to be a buying opportunity when we've gotten down to those areas. So a bear break or a bull break, it's really the follow-up that we're going to be watching for, and to see, is this just another one of those wick outs that we're going to basically sell off when there's a pump, or are we going to find ourselves another buying opportunity where the market feels a break of $6,500 is a value entry, which we have seen consistently through September. But again, the end is nay, and the nay is probably this week, because of how tight things can get. Things just can't get that much tighter. And I just can't see how the bots and the markets can continue to defend with no real organic money flow, and only a really significant news-driven event, I only feel, can really create a bullish push in this market.
Yep.
Charts, setups can only get you so far. You actually need real money flow to come in.
Yep. All right. So, really quick, I just want to be very specific on one of two things that we just said. Okay, if you listen to the when we were talking about the Tether and USDT thing, or True USDT, I said what's gonna happen is people are going to run to JPY, Euro, or US dollars. Those are the safe exchanges to run to. If you want to hedge and save your money, you need to run to an exchange that has those, that you're in USDT, or you're in USD. You're actually in USD in a USD wallet in some kind of exchange that's on some regulated exchange. That's why I feel like, listen, I hate Coinbase to death. I hate Coinbase for their fees, but I am on Coinbase in USD because it is the safest place. It is a US regulated exchange. And I can say the same thing about Gemini, and I can say the same thing about a couple other US exchanges. That's what I would recommend, okay? The second thing is, we are in, just like Chon says and shows with his chart, we are in a very tightening pattern. And listen, stop thinking you have to trade every single move. Just stop it, okay? That's the biggest challenge. So, Chon, go ahead and finish up there, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, as Vam said, the equilibrium is tight. They're running out of room. I mean, listen, computer bots that buy up when Bitcoin's organically trying to break bearish. There's only so much we can move here. We have set a lower high. We have set our higher low. We can still go up several $100s and still be in this bearish pattern. We can do a triple test of $1,600 and still get rejected. We can break bearish as low as 61.50 and still keep putting in a higher high. So until the break of either of those, the significant break of either of those money areas is achieved, then you're not going to get the interest to perk. And I honestly feel, as traders, volatility is kind of what brings eyeballs to a specific stock, crypto market. And the lack of volatility, I mean, I see it on Twitter, I see it on YouTube. It's almost a we're just kind of losing this mojo because we've been stuck in this very tight pattern, and only a couple specific runners have been able to achieve some nice gains. That's going to change, and if when that does, that's the catalyst that will bring a lot more eyeballs into crypto. Big money flow moves, $500, potentially $1,000 price moves in Bitcoin, or huge moves in a lot of the bigger coins that are followed, especially by CNBC. You know, these are the moves that bring eyeballs into the market. into the community, and that's kind of the thing we need to get us to any kind of a definitive move. And without that, it's just easier to dump the price than to push it and to keep the valuation that high. If you don't like Bitcoin at 6,600, if it breaks 7K, are you kind of like it? I mean, that's what this can be set up for, to trap you in a bullish mindset across the board, not just with Bitcoin, but with alts, and just get you to basically allow other people to unload their bags, sell into strength because of a fake push in the coins. The setup is there to break bullish. I just don't know if the money is.
Excellent. Okay, perfect. So listen, we're gonna keep this pretty simple today. We're gonna keep it pretty short. I just want to run through a couple really fast charts here for everybody. J-hook chart still playing out. Like I said, bullish potential is there. We can go both ways into a tightening pattern. This is just the worst. The volume is what scares me, right? Here's our RSI chart. Look at this. There's our bull break, just right up to it and rejected on our bull break again. Nothing has changed into the tightening range. The bull's still, sorry. Yeah, there we go. Sorry. All right, so here we go one more time. The J-hook chart showing us that the bullish potential is still there. We're playing out exactly as the J-hook chart says. Green push, then retrace, then pump again, then dump. Now, I am looking. This can just keep pumping. The pump might not be over. In fact, the dump might not be over. We'll see, right? But, you know, we're still watching. This J-hook chart has played out excellent over history. Now, there's still, just like the Chon says, we can break both ways. It's just too easy to throw a damn just this on here and say, listen, we're in a flag. We're in a flag here. I still think that if you come over here, you take a look at our RSI chart, still in this squeezing. This is just telling you what the Bollinger Bands are telling you on Chon's chart. Squeezing, can't break out high, can't break out low. And it says exactly on this chart. There's our larger time frame. Here's my big time chart right here. This is like, I feel we're going to come up here, test into this resistance zone one more time. Look, we got up here. We're close. We pushed up here. I'm still looking to see if we can possibly push up here one time. I was expecting a lower low when I tested the lower support here. Before we tested higher, I did miss that target by 24 points. So I would like to get up here. I would like to test down lower before I test up higher. We'll see how this is. I'm still saying this 200 MA is really where the rock socks come off, okay? You got to get through this 200 MA right here. Take a look. We're back to just absolutely parallel. Another day. Now, we had a bearish day on our ADX chart. Our ADX, look, we have not turned pink down here. We have not turned pink on our ADX chart. We're still watching this thing. I'm telling you, there will be a pink alert that will come out the second this thing does turn pink with everybody. Nothing has changed up into our box. Still with the potential of 67.33 is still on the table. Getting just knocked in the teeth by the 618 and the 50. Nothing has changed. Once again, just tightening action. Here's my longer range chart. All right, let's take a look at our historical volatility chart. This chart to me says that absolutely not a goddamn thing has changed. We have not changed our trend. This chart will tell us when the trend changes. If this thing snaps bullish, we will know we snap bullish. If this thing goes bearish, it'll snap up, it'll do the same thing, but we'll know we have an actual decision made. We have had no decisions made whatsoever, and you need to get up, you need to get way up here for a confirmation of a trend change, right? This line just needs to snap like crazy, okay? Then we'll say, okay, that's it, I believe it, right? That's it, I believe you. Let's take a look at our Ichi chart really quick. Now, this does look like a bearish cross. So the 12-hour looks like a bearish cross. When your 20 MA does go underneath of your Tenkan line, that is often a bearish cross. So let me confirm that. Yeah, that's a bearish cross on the 12 MA on the Tenkan line. So I would be watching out for that. I love the Ichi charts. I'm learning so much. Now we did have a Kaijun and Ichi and Tenkan line cross right here. But let's kind of see how this plays out. I want to go take a look at my 4-hour candle setup. Very bullish candle. Kind of got some rejection in there. Look, got rejected right at our historic line. Yeah, just I love the 12-hour chart. Let's watch this. This does look like a bearish cross right there. You can see your supports all the way down here, just where I'd like this to target, 64.75. That's where I wanted it to go. Bollinger Bands, Chone went over. Absolutely nothing, no change on our shorts to longs. Okay, this is an important chart right here. It's a very important chart. Look, we did not put in a 6. Remember we talked about this? We did not put in a 6. I was looking for a 6. We did not get a green or red 6 right there. We actually put in a red 1, which does not help us. So now you kind of got to reset your TD count to just, I don't know what's going to happen right here. I honestly don't. Honestly don't know what's going to happen. I think we're going to have to go 1 to 2 more candles before we get a play out in here on this. This is the 12-hour chart. I think we might have to go 1 or 2 more candles to get a decision. Nothing's changed on your long time frame. Oh, look, you did break out bullish. This did finally break out bullish. Now this is broken out and back and out and back and out and back a million times. Oh, you have a huge bearish break. Huge bearish break on your 12-hour Stoke. Oh, that is not good. Yeah, look at that big bearish break on the 12-hour Stoke. Warning sign on that. Just going to run
because
through.
the price didn't move a lot, but the Stoke did.
Yeah, look at that. The Stoke completely broke bearish. Boy, that's not good right there. You want to take a, you have that on your chart? You want to pull that up for a second? Nothing came up. Hit the resistance. We haven't quite hit our historical resistance. Just hit this. We did hit the first historical resistance line. Nothing changed there. What is this? Oh, our J-hook chart. Okay, so let's take a look at our J-hook chart. Did pop out, so we did break this bullish. We did break this resistance line right here. So that's actually very good. That's a very bullish sign right there. Very bullish sign, and I wonder if I can even throw on something like that right there, and or this right there. Right, so I have 2 more resistance points I'm going to add on to there. Okay, 2 more trend lines. Yes, we've been watching the J-hook chart. The J-hook chart's been just beautiful. Our Stoke on our 12-hour breaking bearish, trying to break bearish on the daily. Let's see how that runs out. Now you did get all the way up here. This has got a long way to go both directions. Once again, just horrible trading. I mean, we'd much rather prefer this at the top or the bottom. We don't like it where it's at right here. All right, we're going to go back to the 12-hour. I'm going to run over here. BCH came back up, tested the inside of this trend line. So there was our trend line. Dropped out of it, out of this flag pattern. And then bounced back up into it. Got rejected. So, yep, look, never hit our short target. So that's perfect. And we're just sitting here. Came up, tested the 5-0 line. Got rejected. Ethereum. All right, so Ethereum has, is this an update? I think this is an updated Ethereum chart. So look, Ethereum is doing good. Never broke out of our long chart though. Look at that, never broke out. So I'm still sitting in my Ethereum short trade, right? My stop loss is literally right here for this short trade. I didn't take any profits last night. I'm just not convinced of the market going either direction right here. I've got just a little bit of profit in it. I'd like 1% profit. Even if I get blown out, I'll get blown out. Like there'll be no loss, no big deal. XRP, whew, nice. Now I've been calling a bounce. The vamp was calling the bounce a little bit lower right here. We are getting a little bit of a bounce. We'll have to see if this has any follow through on it. Doggy coin fell out, went back into the channel. EOS. Same thing with EOS. Tested the bottom of the trend line, came up, and Tron, unfucking believable Tron. Unbelievable. Look at this. Whale playground, and the whales are playing, and wow, what a beautiful, beautiful break. Great job. Anybody who was in that Tron trade, excellent job. Took off that, and then it was a XR. What is ZXR? ZXR took off also.
ZRX.
ZRX took off also. Yeah, but look, Litecoin hasn't gone anywhere. EOS hasn't gone anywhere. Ethereum hasn't gone anywhere. XRP hasn't gone anywhere. Doggy hasn't gone anywhere. This says you just got pumped. You just got pumped. Now the ZXR trade, I believe that's because of Coinbase rumors. So I like that one pumping a lot more. But other than that, I think the rest of it's all a bunch of bull honky. You guys got to be careful. And let's switch this over to the Chone to close out the show here. Go for it, buddy.
Yeah, just to piggyback on that, I got Ripple, Doggy, Vibe, and ZRX. The reason I have Vibe up, it's had a 300% pump in like 2 days. These are 4 representations of different altcoins and how they have interacted with a stable Bitcoin. And Doggy was the first actually to kind of pump. This was a late August boomer. It kind of set the stage for the possibilities of September. And just a couple of things of note, even though Doggy has not yet to follow through. I can't believe I said that. That's not really yet to follow through. It's still holding above, with roughly a 38% bullish retrace still on this pullback from its top off. Ripple similarly has yet to have its follow through, but it's still kind of holding, at least on the daily, right at the MA 200, which is allowing at least the possibility for a bullish continuation. I'm a little subjective about terms of how I write my fibs. I don't like to put the top one at the very top of the top wick because of the lack of money flow that's actually there. I like to actually use kind of more of a generalized top off area. And again, this is still holding a very bullish 38% retrace, more or less, which is still kind of bullish from the move, even though we have yet to have that follow through. Vibe similarly had a 300% move and is still only corrected about the 38%. And ZRX, which was kind of the big winner of yesterday on kind of legitimate-ish Coinbase edition rumors, but I'm also reminded of what happened with Ethereum Classic when it actually topped off from its bull pop from the Coinbase edition, like a day or two prior to it actually be fully tradable on Coinbase. So it was a prime example of a buy the rumor, sell the news situation. So even if there is a bullish ZRX moment,
yep, there it was. Look, you can see it. You see Coinbase, the big wick.
This was it. This was here. This one was it's part of the Coinbase 6. This was the actual addition. And, talk about the nastiest daily candle you can possibly look for. There it is. And it's basically trickled lower ever since. Now, maybe it's consolidating at $10. Okay. Remember, this was a 50-cent coin like a little over a year ago. But if this is a narrative to what happens when a new tradable asset is added to Coinbase, then potentially yesterday's price action may have been that pop. And yes, it could have definitely some more Momo to go. The money flow was significant, only with a Bitcoin stabilizing and potential follow through. If Bitcoin can drift up a few $100s, we can see an across the board, little pop from a valuation standpoint. Remember, Bitcoin's valued higher. All your USD pairings across the board will also be valued higher as long as there's no sell-off and pile into Bitcoin. And the only way that would happen if it was a Bitcoin-specific news event. This setup is still kind of bullish. We've seen this before. We keep pounding against this resistance line. More or less, we're putting a lot of an area here. All we're missing, I'm even hesitant to call it money flow. I guess it's bot flow, Tron manipulation. I don't know, money coming from overseas, China fund. I have no idea what it is, but yes, this can still spike up. But we got to ask yourself: is $100, $200, does that kind of draw you in, or make you even more skeptical about how much more bullish this can become? And Bitcoin will always be the king, and it will trickle through the alts depending upon which way it breaks. And next week, I expect the volatility to start kicking in.
Excellent. All right, perfect. So I think that's it. Yes, no, it's we have a flag. There's no doubt about it. There is a flag on Bitcoin. I mean, it is a big flag too, right? And I would see that as honestly, I mean, it's kind of a bullish flag, right?
I'd say more of a pennant. I don't.
Pennant. Yes.
Yeah,
Pennant.
I mean, you could. And here's the thing about if we do the flag and we looked at this more of a parallel, that would still allow a bear break to 63.80
Yeah.
and keep the flag more or less. But then you got to talk about the extent of the flag is getting a little longer than the pole there.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, there's just no more running room here. This is like a runway with we're just losing pavement.
Yeah.
And at some point, equilibriums will be broken. So even if we go up a few $100 or down a few $100, that's not the break. The break will be at least a $500 move either direction.
Yeah.
And that's going to bring eyeballs into the market. Kind of see the volatility, which as traders, these are the things that we actually look for and like to trade against it.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So one more thing I just wanted to point out. Okay. One thing that always scares the bejesus out of me, and this was my Twitter post today. I don't know if a lot of you guys saw it. Did you see my Twitter post today? My Twitter. Okay, it's this one right here. This is my Twitter post. Here we go. Hold on. So this was my Twitter post today. When crypto Twitter gets bullish, that's the first sign I'm looking for to be afraid, right? Listen, people, stop tweeting you're bullish. Just stop, okay? If you want it to be bullish, everybody tweet bearish, the end of the world things. I'm leaving crypto forever. This sucks. This is horrible. I'm never coming back. And then fill your bags, okay? Then fill your bags because it's going to go up. You think the whales don't watch Twitter? You're completely wrong, okay? The whales completely watch Twitter. So
counter trading sentiment has been profitable.
Counter trading sentiment is huge. Okay.
It is. And when crypto Twitter is very bullish, it's been an ominous sign. That's played out several times.
Yes. So even a pop here in Twitter, right? I would just see, in Twitter, in Bitcoin, I would literally see a pop in Bitcoin now as a liquidation play for more further downside. And that's why this whole trading range, and it says it right here, trade at your own risk, trapped in this channel of doom. There you are. You're trapped from 6,400 to 6,800, and there's just nothing you guys can do. We're just trapped in here. This is a bot playground. We're all getting wrecked. We're all giving and taking money. Like right now, I'm playing just the lowest, little teeny tiny. I'm playing small positions right now with low leverage, and I'm literally playing them for $2, $3, $4, $500. Boring, right? Nothing. So my warning to you today is I still feel we have upside, right? I still feel we have upside. Now, I did miss my downside target, right? But I still feel we have upside action here. My target is still, I'd like to get up here, 6,700. Give us one more pop up here. Let me load a bunch of bags up in this area, and let's see if this holds. And then I'll set my stop losses up here high, right? But, it's hard not to go back to this chart right here and use this chart and say, okay, I don't like the setup for the weekly. I don't like any of these candle combos. I don't like anything that's set up on this weekly chart. And to me, my downside target is I still think we're going to, God, I don't want to put something that low on there.
Let's just specify that if we do break bearish, that it's kind of happened in levels.
Levels. Yes. I don't think we're just gonna. I highly doubt we're gonna put in a candle like this. I don't think we're going to put in a monster red diller
Right.
and it's just going to fall out of the sky. I think it's just going to kind of drop and then we'll go up and then drop. And then I don't see the panic unless we drop way down here. I just don't see any panic. There's no panic. Yeah, come on. Oh, I'm bullish at 4,200. 4,200, 4,800, I'm bullish. Yeah, I've
I
already
think it
said that.
depends how we get there,
How
though.
we
A
get there.
trickle down versus a V bottom
V bottom.
capitulation. Yeah, yeah,
Very well said. Yes, sir. All right. So, yeah, that's it.
yeah.
I think this is my play. I the candle combo ugly as hell. The volume ugly as hell. Even a small pop here, I would be suspect of any pop here. You want to go bullish, get me up over 7,400. Like I said, I should. As a horrible example, I think I'm being a really bad example to anybody that's following me right now on Twitter because honestly, I should not be in a position at all. I should be in no position whatsoever right now because that is the best position to be in. And people saying alt season when two alts take off, that's not alt season. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is a pump for whatever reason. TRX is pumping. When I see XRP going and I see Doggy going and I see EOS going and I see all, then we'll have a thing. But in their whale playground, when I see TRX in the whale playground take off like this, or I see ADA or I see XRP take off like this, the first thing that I say is just I don't believe it. I just don't. The people that bought this, right, are just absolutely destroyed right now if they bought this with any leverage whatsoever. I mean, hopefully you guys leverage down and you're not destroyed. Yeah, $100 actually $100 push right now would be very bullish. $100. Look, we got this. I mean, crypto Twitter probably went crazy. I haven't looked at it, but I'm sure how many people are on crypto Twitter right now saying that it's alt season? Right? Oh
If
my
you put out
God!
two
Right?
tweets, you put out a bullish and a bearish, and then whichever way it breaks, that's the one you retweet, and you say, "I called it. I told y'all."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I do feel that, I do feel the time is coming, right? We're either going to have, just listen, we all know what's going to happen. We're going to have an explosion. It's going to happen soon. It's going to happen in either direction, right? There's just too much pent up. People are freaking bored and everybody's looking for a direction here, okay? Everybody's looking for a direction. And I'm not changing my damn chart, right? Like, here it is. This chart I haven't changed this chart in forever, right? You want to get me bullish, you're going to get me over this line up here, right? That's it. This is it. Look there it is. You want to get me bullish, you're going to break this line right here. Break that. That's it. That's as easy as you want to get me bullish, just break that line. Okay? But you can't break 6,900. You can't get up here and break over 6,900. Then we're going to have a talk, right? We're going to have a very bearish talk, and I'm just going to go super, super bear on all of you. Okay? Now, you can't break this line. I'll tell you what. If you can't break 6,700, right? And we just continue a sideways pattern, or we get up here and we touch this and we continue sideways. Oh, God, people, this just puts me in the worst position ever because my bearishness will continue to grow the more we go sideways. Okay. Yoda posted astronaut. Yoda has said that we have been going bullish for 3 months now, okay? I don't believe Yoda's posts anymore. Listen, the guy has a ton of followers. God bless him. He's an OG. But you can't get people wrecked like that. That's irresponsible. His posts are irresponsible. He's been calling us to go to the moon, and the run was over since way back here. And all those poor people that bought in to this run off of his advice are now completely fucking liquidated. All right, every one of those people that bought into his advice, then he called this over way back here. They're liquidated. Even if you bought in here and you're trapped up at 7,300, your ass got fucking liquidated when we fell down to 6,100. There's nobody that bought in at 6,800, 6,900, and they had a stop loss lower than 6,100. Nobody. There's nobody, okay? I'm telling you, show me that donkey that bought up there, but bought anywhere up here, right? Anywhere on Yoda's tweets, and that this was going to the moon, and is still sitting in that bag. Dude, don't listen to these OGs. They don't know what they're fucking talking about, right? Listen to guys, listen to people. Listen, if someone tells you that the bear run is over, that's fine. I'm fine with that. But don't tell people, you can't tell people that the possibility of it not being over also does not exist, okay? You just have to play both sides. Just being a bull all your life is going to get you wrecked. Being a bear all your life is going to get you wrecked, right? You guys have to play both sides, right? It's just not fair to your people who follow you. It's not fair to people who follow big personalities like that on Twitter. You know, this is a very bearish market here. All right. I just don't want to see people get wrecked, guys. I really don't, man. And it's wait for confirmation. Wait for confirmation is all I got to say. All right. So I don't want to see people get wrecked. This is a horrible place to trade. We've said this for weeks now. Weeks. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, going on our 5th week of miserable people getting wrecked miserably. Okay. People are losing their ass for the last month here. Okay, so yeah, people trading on Twitter do deserve to get wrecked. You're right, Expressive. You're absolutely correct, sir. You nailed that. So listen, we are done here. For Big Chon, he's got his little video page up over there. Man, Chon, he's got his YouTube page. Please, guys, go give the Chon some subscribes over on his YouTube page. The guy posts up some amazing content. In fact, he's got his Russian hooker page that's up right now. It's under the Bigger Chon Trading. Wink, wink, the Bigger Chon. So go check it out. He's got yacht videos on there. There's no cat videos. He's just got yacht videos and all that other really cool stuff. Driving around in his new Aston Martin. So you guys can go check that out. He did have a barbecue the other day with 2 or 3 Swedish models. It was pretty sexy. He has not shared those photos with you guys, but he sends them to me. So listen, for us, Big Chon, the 007 pimp man himself, and all of us at Until 1 Mil, we would like to say thank you all for joining us this wonderful evening. We have this wonderful end of a week, and please trade safe, everybody, as we go forward.
Thanks, guys. Peace out.